3SFX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Kortney.
This is the Indoob podcast, where drive time meets late night talk show, as we aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, where it is currently snowing, but not really. But yeah, it's snowing here, but
is it a lot of snow though?
It's snowing, but like it's not accumulating, or like you wouldn't know it. And it's been typical for the winter here in New England this year. So this was actually been a good time for you to come visit, because you wouldn't have to worry about, the real snow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley does not like it at all, because she wants to trunk I don't know, I can't even think of the verb I'm looking for. Trek, maybe? I don't know. And she just left the room, so I can't even ask her what she wants to do in the snow. And it's probably nothing. She probably just wants to stay inside and look outside at it.
I mean, that's what I would want to do if we got snow like that.
I mean,
that is
you're not
precisely
wrong.
What I would want to do. That's it.
Yes. It's very picturesque. It's nice to look at, but at the same time, just people like me, I've got places to go, things to do, and all of that nonsense is in my way. I know we discussed this last episode, and I left out a very important detail that I am also protesting about. And that is the whole cleanup process, where it's all the sanding, or not sanding, the salting, and the sand mixtures, the dirt and all that stuff. All that gets back on your car.
Right.
And then you have to drive around with a dirty car. And but then
at least you'd be able to move around and do all your business,
Right. But then you're right. But then you have to accidentally brush against your car. And I don't know about you, but I imagine you wearing bright colors because you're a bright, just colorful person. So I don't, but me, I like to wear the darkness, and it's just like, pretending I'm out in the night, like Batman or something. Right. Be the night. Yes. And you brush against any car, even your own, and the next thing you know, you're just covered in like just this white ashy filth. Like, how are my clothes ashy? Like, how? Why? I don't like it. So yeah.
That makes sense. That would take me off too, honestly.
Right. So, and I'm pretty sure if you're wearing some other colors, you probably have the same shoes. Like, oh, I got like smudge on my, jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's my gripe, really. But yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I had a bit of a funky day yesterday. Like, I was just more like I was the funky part of the day, and not in a good way. This was in a funk. But today was much better, and I'm feeling better and got stuff accomplished. And something even really cool happened. I have been struggling to do something at work. Like, I've been putting it off for way too long. And you know how when you put something off, the longer you put that thing off, the worse like the outcome or the possible outcome might be. Like, I had held on to something at work that I needed to process, because when I process things at work, like receipt things, money and stuff, I need to do it in a certain amount of time. And I just didn't want to get any flack for not processing it sooner. Now, there's a lot of reasons why. It wasn't just me not doing it because I didn't want to, but there's some issues with it. And I don't know, I could have been more proactive in making it happen a little sooner, but some of it was out of my control. Regardless, I just did not want to, deal with this thing. Well, I finally dealt with it, because I'm like, okay, this is big. I'm holding this thing over my head. I'm sick of it. Just ready to be done with it. So I did what I need to do, spent the time on it, got the headache because of it that I knew I was going to get. And I survived the headache, and then I dealt with it, and I have to put it through to my supervisor, who we won't spend a whole lot of energy on that person.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
she is just that type of person where you don't want to
Give
talk
too
to.
much energy.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I do.
Or just work with,
I mean,
or anything.
we've had communications off mic about, these particular people, because at times it is more than one. But yeah, so I get it. And everybody, I want to say for the most part, has had a supervisor, boss person like that. So
yeah, coworker even. But anyway,
yep,
this
there you
person is that person is my person, and I do what I need to do. And I had part of the process of what I have to do for my job is like, it starts with me, and then I recommend it for approval, and it goes to the supervisor, and they either recommend or they, have questions or whatever. So knowing that I had to, include this person in on this process that I've been afraid of, and putting off and stuff, I have been like dreading the questions that are going to come in, and the the shame that this person is really good at giving. Well, it didn't happen.
Shame because it took you so long to do it.
Took me so long, or basically, yes, I should have processed it sooner, but basically making me feel as if I am not good at my job, or I am not doing something right, even though it's maybe not as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. Well, I didn't get any of that. I got no flag, no questions about anything, no nothing. So essentially, I had been stressing out over this thing for so long, and nothing even happened. Much to my very yes. So I don't know. It was just a lesson in stop, letting this anxiety over certain things get to you. Just face it, face your demons, face your monsters, and stop hoping or anticipating the worst, because you just never know. The best may happen. So
apparently, like, the worst part of it was in your own mind. Like, it was like,
yep, I was making it way harder, way bigger, way worse than I needed to. But I mean, it's from experience why I was thinking that way. But fortunately, it did not turn out that way. So I've been stressing over it for way longer than I should have, way longer than I needed to. So, yeah.
Well, I am very happy for you.
I'm glad that it's over. Yeah.
I'm very happy for you, because yes, I know some of the stresses of your job, and yeah, it can be a lot, and I'm glad you were able to deal with it. And as you had just said, the outcome was not as bad as you were thinking it was going to be, but you were prepared for it. Like,
I was.
Here we go.
And I had that thought of, you know what, whatever happens, you can handle it, and whatever happens, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. It may suck, but you can handle that. And that was my thoughts, and that prepared me to just do it. And I could release all those thoughts when it was finally over. So,
and you moved on to, and then I'm assuming, not even assuming, I'm hoping you actually got to turn that around, and you actually had a funk-filled day, like a good funky day. Like, all right, and just turn something on to let your hair kind of come out, and just take a leg, something.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that is great. And I mean, I was sitting here earlier, kind of writing some things down, and you did mention, well, you just said that you're having like a funky day, and like, oh, that's right, I did this whole research on P-Funk mythology, because I'm really only aware of like 2 songs from that whole era of like George Clinton and Parliament and Funkadelic, and unaware that a good portion or good majority of the albums are all telling like a collective story. And I think that is something that I will have to one day just kind of set out to do, and just listen to each song, each album, to put together the story in my own head, because apparently they like to draw, like, one of them, the albums actually kind of draw some parallels to Star Wars. So I'm like, that's interesting. So yeah. And so that's the only connection that I've had with you mentioning funky. I'm like, oh, not the good funk, because like we could really get into it now, because I just did a whole mini little research, and it took me a little while to read everything because, well, I've got a day job too, so I had to do some work. I'm like, oh, I can't read this anymore.
Right.
So glad that you're good, but we have to get to business, and the business is show business, such as reviewing the Oscars, because that just happened. Now, normally on this podcast, we do like Oscar predictions, but life had been so busy within the last month, or even like since they've been the nominees were announced. I'm like, oh, I need to sit down and actually figure out which movies are going to win. And I do all this research. I do everything that I do that I don't think I even really break down and explain what it is that I do, how I come up with my predictions. And it's different from who I want to win to who I am thinking will win. So I just want to make that point clear.
And that's a big distinction.
It truly is, because I mean, sometimes my personal bias will kind of sway who I'm thinking might win, and sometimes my bias is correct, or they line up together. I'm like, I think this person will win, and I want this person to win. So I'm okay with that. That's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to go to Hollywood, we sing the song when we talk about Hollywood. I don't know the actual lyrics. Even if I did, I wouldn't sing them anyway. So yes, going to Hollywood now. Now I'm going to go through the list this time to talk about all the winners rather than I'm just going to get out of the way now. This is the worst prediction I've ever done. Like the worst.
Oh,
I got the worst grade.
So you've been off your game this time.
So if we were to give me a letter grade, it would basically be a high F.
Oh, that's terrible for you.
That's actually what Ashley and I said, and we high-fived over it, even though I mean I still failed. But and I said a high F, and it's really like 52%. There are 23 categories, and I got 12 of them right. So yeah,
that's like Kortney level predictions, I'd say.
I mean, well, I think you only did it like 1 year with me, where you kind of guessed, or at least I kept track of your guesses.
I feel like I did it a couple years maybe, but since I'm so far removed, they are truly guesses, and that's it. Like nothing backs up my guesses at all.
I see. I gotcha. Well, we'll just go through quickly, and we'll just go through each category. First one is acting in a lead role or actor, and that is Brendan Fraser. And I have not seen The Whale at all, but he won. But he was the reason why I picked him is because that's all anyone was ever talking about, was just how well he was doing. They didn't say anything really about the movie. I think they said it was depressing. Yeah. But it's also Aaron Aronofsky. I might have mispronounced his name, but I usually always do. And he doesn't really make those like cheerful kind of like, oh, wow, I feel like just, sun shining. And he makes the kind of movies that make me feel when I touch my car after it's been outside, like after the snow falls and the grime and stuff. Like I feel dirty and I need to wash something and just like, oh, I feel I don't want to be outside. Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to seeing the movie, but I will just take everybody's word for it that Brendan Fraser did an amazing job, and he's got an award to prove it. So there we have it.
Yeah.
And actor in a supporting role, we have, and I still have yet to actually learn how to pronounce his name, and I'm so sorry. Ke-Huy Quan? Is that how it's for Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes, I thought it was Key, but I don't know how to pronounce his name either. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited he won.
Yes, and at first I wasn't sure if you saw it or you were just watching clips because you were sending me clips, and like, did she watch it? No, she didn't watch it. Yeah,
no,
that's what I thought.
No.
Yes, he had a very I mean, he's also been winning in other award shows as well for the same role, so I kind of already pegged him to be the winner, and he was. So no big surprise there. Next one is actress in a leading role, and that was Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So again, not a surprise, but I was very excited, very happy, and well deserved. And yet again, she was winning in all the other award shows. So points to her. Now there was a little bit of a controversy, and That is for Andrea Riseborough. I don't even know how to say her name. But there's this film called To Leslie, and it was like a very I think it had only been out like a week, and maybe like a couple thousand people only saw it. So people were like, how did this get nominated? So it was some whole grassroots campaign, and somehow her name got put into the best actress nominee versus someone like Viola Davis in The Woman King, or basically some other people. But a lot of people were surprised that Viola Davis was not, named or listed, and felt that was some kind of a what's the word? Scandal was afoot. And I don't have enough information to back that up, but that is something that has happened, and I believe it. So yeah. Now, yes, the real controversy, which I'm going to get into now, is the snub that happened in actress in supporting role.
Ooh, let's get into it.
Yeah. So I really want to say most people really had Angela Bassett to win for Black Panther. And I mean, so did I. I was like, yeah, this is a shoo-in. Like, she won like the other past ones, and she did such an amazing job. And I have not seen these other films except for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And both Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie did a great job in those roles. But I didn't see Jamie Lee Curtis winning, and I think she was surprised too. So here we go. And everyone's talking about the look on Angela Bassett's face and how upset she, kind of was, but still keeping it classy and like,
right.
Well done. So I personally, I don't have any I don't know. I don't feel. How do I put it? I don't want to say I don't feel bad because I wish she did win, but I'm also not upset that Jamie Lee Curtis won.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both.
She deserved it really too. Great. Yeah.
Right.
I probably would have predicted that Jamie Lee Curtis would have gotten it, just because of the movie altogether. But also she earned it. But I thought Angela Bassett also did a great job. So it could have gone either way, but I probably would have bet on Jamie Lee Curtis. Unfortunately, had to choose between the two.
That's a tough choice, and
it is.
Really, it just for me, it came down to if I really even considered it, yes, definitely between the two of them. But I didn't even think Jamie Lee Curtis would get it, and she did. And I'm like, good job, good for you, great movie, you did a great job. So yeah. So I also want to say that I did my predictions like minutes before the show started. Like, I just went down this list and I just circled the winners. I'm like, okay, this one. I struggle when we get to the technical ones. I underlined the ones that actually did win. So the next one, animated film, I just guessed Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which did win. So I'm like, great. Cinematography, All's Quiet on the Western Front. I guessed that one and got that one right. I have not seen it. I think you and we talked about war movies before and how we just kind of
shy away from
there's got to be something. Yeah. But there's got to be some reason to make me want to watch it.
Yeah.
And that one doesn't quite have anything for me. So yeah, and it actually won quite a few awards, and I was not anticipating that, so I got a bunch wrong.
Yeah.
The next one here is Best Costume Design. And for me personally, I didn't want to lean into like, okay, Black Panther won last time. Ruth Carter, she did an amazing job. And I really struggled because looking at all the costumes, and I've only seen 3 movies out of the 5. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go ahead with Ruth Carter, and she won. And that is today's Black History fact. She's the first African-American woman to win 2 Oscars. So.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
Just like ever?
I believe so. I think she is the only, probably even just the only Black person, I think. But yeah, she definitely has the 2 trophies just smiling at her. So, or whatever face they make, but it's kind of blank. Or maybe she's smiling and the reflection is smiling back at her. I think that's how it works.
That's what it is. Yep.
But definitely well deserved, because even when they do like the little montage showing all the other works that they do or all the other like costumes, like, oh wow, yeah, that really does look pretty good. And a lot of times they tend to lean towards whatever period piece is happening or whatever period piece movie. If it's like got flowy Victorian dresses and like, oh, automatically Oscar winner. And yeah, that wasn't this year because Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which I've never seen, but definitely
Never
looks like
heard
it's
of
a
it.
fashion forward movie. I think it's streaming on Peacock right now, I think. Um Again, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I never considered until they started showing us oh my goodness, I forgot her name already, but basically Joy's variants or her was it Jobu? I forgot her villainous name again.
Jobu Tupaki?
Yes, yes. Showing her all of her costumes because yeah, she has a look and you get to see each and every one of them. I love it. So I forgot. I was like, oh wow, yes, that's a great costume design. And Elvis, because I mean it's Elvis. So
Yeah.
but like I said, Ruth Carter won, and now we're gonna move on. Next one on my list is directing, and that was the Daniels won that one. So I'm glad I went with my gut. And it's like, I mean, they pulled off a feat of a movie. So
yeah,
well done. But say we can talk about that, and we have, and for
because I have
possible
thoughts.
Yeah. Best documentary. Why am I saying like that? Best documentary feature film. Documentary. And that is Navalny. I don't even know what it is. I'm usually pretty good about trying to watch many of the documentaries, and I failed this year. I didn't see any of them, even though I had access to at least 3 of them. But nope, I got that one wrong, by the way. So, documentary short film, and I got wrong too. That one is actually The Elephant Whisperers. Now, whenever it comes to the shorts, I never really know where to find them. And I feel like I have a friend who might have an in, but I keep forgetting to say, hey, you have like that connection that you can help me out so I can watch them.
Yeah.
Because they're
right.
So what I do to kind of help me predict that is I will look up each film and see what festivals they've gone to and kind of compare all of those to whatever they may have won, especially if a lot of them are in the same festivals or same award ceremonies, whatever they might be in. Do that for documentaries too, because they tend to go to, I think, like the Spirit Awards or something. So, so I go and look through all of that, look to see all of the accolades and kind of total or tally those up. Sometimes that helps me, sometimes it doesn't. But at least it gives me a kind of a direction like, okay, this one has been seen by more people, and that helps too, because if more people see it, more people are tending to gonna vote for the one that they saw. So
right.
So that's
still don't quite understand how the Academy chooses the movies, and I don't know. I just wonder how that, because I do feel like it's kind of a popularity contest sometimes, but I also don't know that, so I don't know.
Well, I can enlighten you a little bit here as well. What happens is after your film is completed, like as long as it fits within certain parameters, or like it has to be done between this day and this day, they can submit it to the Academy for your approval, but basically just to consider it. So all the people within that branch, let's say we're talking about the documentary short films, there are people who are on the board rather, and they're the ones that kind of look through and see all this. All the people who are members, they can look at whatever it is in their category. So all the other documentary short film makers who are in the Academy in that branch can vote on who they want to have be their nominee, like their actual nominee. So they all vote. Let's say 10 of them are submitted. They're all ranked like 1 through 10. And then the ones that get the highest score are the ones that move on to the next level to being voted on by everyone else in the Academy. So you don't have to be in the documentary short when it comes to the actual nominees. And they're the ones that vote. All of that's secret until Oscar night. Does that help at all?
That does help. Thank you.
So that's why it's such a big deal. Like if like a couple of years ago when they tried to get more Black people or just people of color within the academy, so they could actually be more of a voice to make sure a lot more movies are considered, or
right.
Not even just movies, but yeah, movies. It's all about movies. Yeah. So that said, we'll move on to film editing. Once again, Everything Everywhere All at Once took that one, which I did get right. International feature film is All's Quiet on the Western Front, which I guessed that one correctly, and that was a pure guess. The only film I was seen was Argentina, 1985. Makeup and hairstyling, I guessed Elvis for that one, but I got it wrong. And The Whale picked up its, yeah, I know. It picked up its second win for makeup and hairstyling. Because they made Brendan Fraser look way much bigger than he actually is.
They did.
Yeah. So yeah. Next one is original score. And this one I really, again, the only one I had seen is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It did not win. What won was All's Quiet on the Western Front.
Okay.
So I'm like, But again, I hadn't seen it, and all the other films I hadn't seen. So Ashley was watching it with me, and she loves John Williams. I'm not sure how you feel about him.
The composer,
Williams.
right?
Yes.
Love is a strong. I greatly respect him.
Respect him, said.
Yes, I greatly respect him. Like the work that he's done and what he's contributed to the industry.
Okay. Very what's the word?
Politically correct.
Yes, or diplomatic answer. Yes. It was very
diplomatic, yeah.
Well,
I'd like to keep it that way. Thank you.
Anyway, he did not win. No, he did not win. In fact, the composer, I don't even know the composer's name. We're going to move on. Original song. So here is another one. I want to take a little, let's pause here for a second. And I had Lift Me Up from performed by Rihanna, but I guess the lyrics were by Ryan Coogler and Thames. And I was
really okay.
Yes. So I mean, I was kind of surprised. Oh, Ryan Coogler contributes writing the song too. Well, it is a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, so it makes sense. And the performance was beautiful. All the performances that I had saw, one of them I did not watch because I had to go take Chief to go pee outside, so I missed one of them. Lady Gaga performed "Hold My Hand," which I had never actually heard until that night. So I'm like, oh, well, this is a nice, pretty song. And This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I had never actually seen it performed, but it was very Everything Everywhere All at Once of a performance. It was very interesting, which Ashley kept saying this is weird. So I'm like, well, you saw the movie.
And the movie's quite weird.
David, is it David Byrne? It's either David Byrne or Daniel Byrne. I think it's David Byrne, but he's a frontman to Talking Heads and does very weird, like eccentric things. And if you don't know who he is, then it would seem weird for him to do what he was doing. And he actually had the hot dog fingers when he performed. So
really?
Yeah. Yes. So I'm like, okay, that tracks. So nothing really kind of moved me to like, this is really weird. I'm like, yep, all this makes perfect sense for the movie that it came from. Yeah. But no, Not To from RRR was the winner of this original song. And they did perform the same like song and dance that happened in the movie. And I was ecstatic. Like I was so like just watching it, like, yes, I really want to watch this movie again because this is so much fun. And I was so excited that they won.
So is that the only inclusion of RRR in this year's categories?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was really hoping they would get international film, but they didn't get that nominee or that nomination. So so I was a little sad, but I was glad that they got the nominator for the song Not To, which means dance, and they danced and they danced hard, and I'm like, yes,
I saw a clip of that. Yes, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, if you had seen that bit, let that be a bit of a teaser for you to the actual movie. Still on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
RRR. They even have a dubbed version now, so you don't have to read the subtitles, but I still would recommend
What?
the subtitles. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though this list, the next one goes to Best Picture, we'll say that for last. Next one is production design. And
Mm-hmm.
I chose Elvis because I thought the design was really good, but it was also the only movie I had seen in this category. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
All's Quiet on the Western Front yet again.
I guess you're gonna have
Next
to
up
see
is
that movie.
I don't want to.
I'm so sorry, but apparently you need to.
Hmm.
Mm.
Sorry, I know it just sounded like deflated and defeated, but can't make me.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
We're moving on. Animated short film. Now, this is the one where Ashley kind of protested again to me, saying, "Why didn't you ask me?" And I'm like, "I didn't know you've seen any of these movies." And she's like, "Well, you could have asked me." It's like, "I didn't know. I went and just went down the whole list real quick." Anyway, the one that
Mm-hmm.
won is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Not sure where that's streaming, but I am interested. I mean, if I knew, if I had the time, I would have gone through and watched all of these. I chose the wrong one, and I just chose it again on a whim, and it's called My Year of Dicks. I don't know exactly what it means, but one day I will find out because I will watch it. So
Please do. I
correct.
really, really want
Yes.
to. I really want you to watch that
Have you
and
seen
tell
it?
me all about it. No,
Oh, okay.
I only
The way
heard
you
about
said it,
it.
though.
Well, no, because I was looking for the winners because I wanted to see who won, and I saw that one. I don't know that I saw that it won anything, but I saw that it was a nominee for a couple. Like,
Mhm.
no, so it's like, huh? So did they say that like on TV? Can they say that on
They
TV?
did. They had
Did
they
they?
yes, they did.
Wow. Okay.
That's why the Oscars
I'm
are now
very.
rated TVMA. Mhm.
Are you serious?
No, I'm kidding. It's still TV
I was about
14.
to say.
It's network
Dang.
TV, so you can only say so much. Um, so yes, I will watch that eventually. It's on Hulu for those who are also might be looking for it. Let's see, live action short film. Again, I just did a random guess. I did, and I got it wrong. And like again, if I did what I was supposed to do, I would go through because all of these are submitted at festivals. I know this; they have to be because where else can they be seen? So I would go through. Maybe the Irish Goodbye is could have been at the top of the list. I don't know, but that's the one that won the Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the sound category, I'm not sure if they started it last year or they started it this year, but they used to be sound editing and sound mixing, but they decided to put them together. Normally, that can give me a better chance at either winning or losing because whatever one film gets, usually the same film in that same category or the adjacent category gets that win too. But they're all together. So this time I used a different logic and I'm like, okay, which out of all these movies probably sound like with all of these sound that goes into sound or talent that really packs the greatest punch. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go Top Gun Maverick for this one. And that's the one that
Mm-hmm.
won.
Mm-hmm.
So my instinct was correct. All's Quiet
Nice.
on the Western Front was also nominated, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to go with that one. Top Gun. And I was correct.
I'm glad Top Gun didn't
Next.
sweep because they didn't really sweep, did they?
Oh, no. This is, in fact, that's pretty much all they won was Best Sound.
Yeah. I'm glad that it didn't sweep, honestly.
Mm. Why?
Well, because I don't know, it almost seems like the obvious choice maybe because you've got big names, you've got like a classic movie sequel or the sequel, I guess, to a
Mm.
classic movie. And I don't know, I just don't want it to I would like for other movies to get their time to shine, indie movies, and it's nice to see that they didn't just get everything, kind of
Mhm.
like Avatar.
Well, that's the next one on this list. That one
Ah,
is for visual effects was Avatar. In fact, that's the only one that they won was
yes,
Avatar.
that is the only one. And honestly, yeah, they had amazing visual effects. It was great. It was the movie, like the movie was made of VFX. So sure,
And
let them have their
and
one and then move on.
and when I was doing my quick predictions, and that is another one that I did get incorrect. Had I put some more thought into it, I definitely would have picked Avatar. And even Ashley was like, "Why did you pick that? You should know better." I'm like, "Thank you." But I was trying to give it to Black folk. I predicted Black Panther would get that one. It's like, yeah, they got some pretty good visuals in that movie. I mean, they were underwater, but I forgot.
They were underwater.
So was Avatar.
Right. A good portion of it was underwater, actually.
No,
it's called The Way of the Water.
Well, Black Panther, Wakanda. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Moving on. Adapted screenplay. Random guess. Although this one was a really hard one for me because I'm like, okay, so all of these movies, well, I had only seen 2 of them. One of them was Top Gun. And I'm like, the scripts, like, really? Adapted screenplay? Really? Okay. All's Quiet on the Western Front, which again, I had not seen. And at this point, refusing to. So I'm like, I don't know about that one. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, which I absolutely enjoyed. I'm like, I don't know. And then Living, which I've still know very little about. It's got Bill Nighy in it, which I love him, but I don't think this is a movie I want to watch. And lastly, Women Talking. So it was just something about it. I'm like, you know what? I think that's it. I think that's the winner. And I'm going to go with that one. And it did win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was a very, I mean, you think screenplay, you think of people talking and like dialogue and, like a good, almost as if it was a play or something. And I have not seen this movie, so I don't know, but just based on like, you know what? Women Talking. I knew a little bit about it, but I'm like, give it to that one. Sure enough, they won. I'm like, yes. So I was a little excited for that just because it was a random guess, like many of these other ones. The last one was original screenplay, which I got wrong. Of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once won it, as it should have.
Nice.
But I picked the Banshees of Inisherin. Because I'm like, because I felt like that was going to be a sleeper hit. Like that was the one that was going to be like, or a sleeper sweeper. Ooh, I like that one better.
Ooh, yeah. I do like that one
I just thought I was going to just take everything. But no, it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. It just took the most. In fact, it took the grand prize of Best Picture. So
yay!
Yes,
that is so exciting.
And it was. I was excited because they won. I was excited because I got it right, and I was excited because the show was over and it was time to go to bed. But yeah, it was well done. They did a really great job with that movie, as we constantly keep saying on this podcast because we love it.
Yes.
And that's the list. 52.
Did you mention best? What was it? I feel like the editing team I feel like they won as well. I know that the Daniels won Best Director. Yes. Didn't the editing team also win, like, for Best Editing?
Or Everything Everywhere? Yes, they did. Okay.
Well, I mentioned that because I remember saying that they won for that. And like I've seen, I've read several interviews from the Daniels about like what happened with editing, because I think they had just finished wrapping, or had to like go, like they finished, but then had to go back during COVID or something. But because of COVID and how it hit, they had to like edit the entire movie, on laptops in their rooms, in their homes alone. And somehow they brought it together and made it work. And I just love that so much, because it's such a grassroots, like DIY almost. I mean, I know movies are edited by people, but it's just such a testament to their talent and their vision and the clarity of what their jobs were that made the movie happen. Because editing is just as important as every other bit of the movie. And they managed to pull it off and do a great job during COVID and during like such a huge upheaval of the entire world. So I love it.
Yeah, and each time like someone who was from that movie got up, they gave more insight into how the movie came to be, and giving different ways they classify this movie. It's like, yeah, this movie is really about or no, I think one of the first people that came up was they said like, I want to make a movie where my mom is in the Matrix, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow,
I love
that's
that.
amazing, because that's what happens.
That's
Another
one of the reasons I
person,
loved it.
yeah, because it's
Michelle Yeoh, she is not your typical protagonist in a movie like this, and I love that.
and just so much. And for me, just like the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, I need to go watch it again.
Me
And I think
too.
I
I need to
still
own
have
it. I'm ready to own
Showtime.
it.
Yeah, that too. Like I need to go pull out my Blu-ray player and fire that up just for this, so I can
Mm-hmm.
just soak it in, watch all the special features, and just be immersed within what they created. Because you're right, like all that they made through COVID, nonetheless,
Mm-hmm.
various like Zoom meetings and just like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
let's do this thing, let's get this made, let's tell this really original story, which
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing. I love it. So
Yes.
well
Yes. Yes.
deserved, well deserved. And yeah, I mean, overall, I felt the program itself was a good one. I wasn't too bored by anything. And I think there was a couple times a few people had some speeches that, were like, oh, okay, I'm bored now. But that always happens. It's an award show. I did not see clips of what I'm about to talk about now, but apparently, and what I did tell you about was Thames and her wardrobe, or rather her big poofy puffy dress thing,
Mm-hmm.
and how I guess at some point with her sitting in the audience, there's like a screenshot or a screen grab, and then you just kind of felt bad for whoever might be sitting behind her, because if you can imagine Doctor Strange, if you will, with his cape, and how it
Mm-hmm.
just has like this
Like
huge
collar.
collar that, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just towering above his head, making him like a whole foot taller. That's kind of what Thames had on, but poofier and more elegant. Not saying
Mm-hmm.
the cape is not elegant, but So yeah, poor guy or ma'am or whoever was behind her, and even the guy
Right.
who was sitting next to her, who was just kind of like, I'm not sure if he was with her or not, but he just seemed like, okay, I'm here, and just kind of moving aside, making some room for this. What people were saying on Twitter was like, we just love seeing black women just taking up space in white
Mm-hmm.
areas. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that kind of resonated with me. You had like a different reaction to it?
Yeah. I love it when Black women take up space in any space, white spaces, any space, because we should. But I also think that um, there is a point of um, not being considerate of the folks around you, because we're talking about a sit down thing where, I mean, it's in like an auditorium or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like if it was, I've seen other awards shows where you're at tables and you're kind of spread out a little bit more. But in this case, we're sitting in an auditorium, like a theater type situation where you're in rows of people. And I don't know, it just is seems a bit inconsiderate to me
Mm.
to I don't know.
I'm wondering if
Yeah, I don't know.
even like if that was even a thought. Like,
It probably
oh, I
wasn't,
just
because when the outfit itself is gorgeous, and even just looking at it by itself, it doesn't seem like it would be that big of an imposition, you know? It it
right.
it's it was a gorgeous outfit, but I happened to see it like and then I think it was like really long and flowy, like the rest of the gown. So
Mm-hmm.
it really did take a lot of space and like height wise and length wise and everything. So I don't know. I loved it on her. It was beautiful, but I'm like, oh, the logistics of this uh may
Mm,
paint a different picture.
mm. And I never really thought about it too until you brought that up when we were talking about it before. I'm like, oh
Sorry.
wow, yeah. And we've seen so many people walk down the red carpet, or in this case, this was a champagne carpet. I still have not seen any of the I'm putting in quotes, the red carpet, pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I watch it, and it's fun to watch with people who know fashion, like my wife. So, but we didn't watch it this year because I think we started it just a little late. But either way, I hadn't really thought about like all of this material. Like, where does it go? He has to stuff in these little seats. Like, are they the flip down seats, or how much space do you have? And then I had questions about the theater. Like, do they actually watch movies here at the Dolby Theater? Because I believe it was at the Dolby Theater, or is it only
Yes,
for award shows?
I don't know. Well, if it's a theater, it's not necessarily a movie theater. Like it's got a huge stage.
Correct.
They could put productions on, like plays and stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
don't know what else it would be used for.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some Googles later on that because it was just really one of those random questions that came to mind. Like, what happens when there's not an award show? Because that's the only time I really ever hear about this
The
particular
Dolby.
theater. And
Yeah.
right, so the sound has to be amazing though. But
Oh yeah.
and by the way, fun fact: in case you do feel like spending, I don't know, 6 hours watching the Oscars again, they are on Hulu. So there you go. But um, so I the production design, and they actually do give out Emmys for the telecast of the Oscars. So
Oh
we'll
wow.
see.
That's
But I mean,
funny.
it is funny though, because like, oh, you get an Emmy for producing the Emmys. Nice. Just it doesn't get more meta than that. So,
Right.
but the stage presence, production, all of that was great. I did miss the very opening number. I don't know what exactly happened, but I missed all of that. But like I said, pretty much good show. They got some jabs in about Will Smith, so of course they were.
Yeah.
So,
How
which
did
I
that
did watch.
land? Like how did that go over?
Um,
Was it
for me,
awkward?
I chuckled. I it was like it didn't hit hard. Well, maybe not as hard as he hit, but it didn't like it wasn't you because you knew it was coming. You knew they were going to address it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was like, hey, this happened last year. We can't not talk about it or make jokes about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, this was much more palatable than say the Chris Rock special. So
Gotcha. Okay.
that's just a whole different thing. And apparently
Yeah.
it's so apparently, and I haven't gone to verify for myself, but I think that they censored that the joke or even the part of that he starts talking about Will Smith in his special. So
What? Censored it
yeah,
how, I
I don't.
wonder.
Yeah, that's the part I'm not sure because I have seen it like in its entirety. So I will have to go back
Mhm.
to say like, oh, it just
Ah,
ends.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll
So
go
so
check
like
that out at
censored
some
it
point.
as in cut it out completely.
That's what it sounds like, but I can't confirm this until I can, go back and
See it?
check it out for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So because I have no segue whatsoever, and I feel like that is
Mhm.
my segue of late, is just saying that I don't have one. Um, bread. You've been making more bread since the last time we talked on the pod,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's become well
An
to me in
obsession.
my head. Okay, it is. Okay, you said the word. I didn't really want to label it as such unless you
An
are
actual
embracing.
obsession. No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
embracing it and loving it, and yeah, yeah, it is
yeah. There's
consuming my waking moments, and I am so here for it. I love it so much,
not
and
your
I'm
waking
getting better at
moments.
it. Most of my
Like,
waking moments.
are you at work thinking about bread and kinds of bread you can
Yes,
make?
yes, yes.
Mm.
And it's starting to spill over into pasta making as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm learning how to make pasta now. I've already failed at my first batch of homemade pasta. And so that has spiraled into, well, what did I do wrong? I followed the recipe, I did the thing. And so I'm now learning, like, I understand the technique, but now I'm like I understand the steps, I should say. But it is the
Mm.
technique that I'm not really well versed in. And that's where I went wrong. It's just not, there's certain things you need to do and you need to do them properly, or it's going to be a terrible mess and taste
Mm.
gross. So, I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I've even bought,
Some.
like, I've always wanted a KitchenAid, but I was never able to justify it because I just don't bake a whole lot until recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a KitchenAid, I've been using it. I've been learning how to work it, and oh my gosh, it really does make life so much simpler and easier and quicker, and I love it. So yeah,
Which
I'm doing the
just
same
makes you
thing with
make more bread because you're able to
yeah,
process it faster and mix it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes I have issues like with my joints, like my hands aching and stuff. And so when you're making bread, there's points where you have to knead it. And even with pasta, there's points where you need to knead it. And so I'm like anything that will help me not put so much stress on my hands um is probably best. I don't want to run myself down doing this wonderful hobby
Mm.
and being in pain. So
No, it's not as much fun
um
anymore because,
it's
yeah.
not much fun that way. Yeah. So, but I love it so much. Like I get why people were, why there was such a rise of homemade bread making at home during the pandemic.
All these puns are just
Because
thrown out and not, using.
huh?
Are you
What I
aware?
do?
Are you aware? Because
Probably
you said
not.
the rise of bread, and then at one point
Oh,
talking about
kneading.
yes. See, um,
Yeah.
you,
I
you're
caught the
you're
kneading one,
slacking.
but
You're slacking.
the rise of yeah, I didn't even try that one. It just
Mm.
happens.
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
just happens now. So, and bread puns.
Right.
So yeah. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I have a new goal of making this year I would like to make an entire meal completely from scratch. So
Oh, okay.
I don't
I was
know.
worried where you were going with that. It was like an
Oh
entire
no.
meal made of bread. It's
Oh
like
no. That's doing too much.
something.
No.
It is. It's like there's too many like what glutens and carbs. Like, do you put
Carbs
extra
and I
gluten in
mean
your bread?
no. I just have the regular gluten.
Okay.
Now the meal would be pretty carby and pretty gluteny, but like I want to, use homemade pasta and make a homemade pasta dish, meaning like I'm not sure what the sauce would be for the pasta dish, but I can imagine using homegrown tomatoes like from my own garden and homegrown
Mm.
herbs and stuff. Um and homemade bread, all of that. I would love to do that
Right.
from scratch. As much from scratch
Yeah.
as possible, I should say. Because even like certain herbs and stuff, I'm not gonna grow those, but I could have a lot of fresh
I mean,
herbs
you
and things.
could.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I just
I
don't
mean,
want to
that's
have
something.
all fresh herbs. That may get a little
Yeah,
crazy, but
I
you
suppose.
know,
That I mean that's something that Ashley would like to do is like have a little like herb garden that we have in our window
mm-hmm,
because I mean we've
mm-hmm,
got she's moved some plants around. There's one that was becoming, for lack of a better word, evasive. So she moved it to the
yeah,
big window because apparently it was
yeah,
like, nope, I need more space. So yeah.
yep,
And plus it was attacking me when I was cooking because our stove is right there. And
yeah,
here this plant is just all up in my face, like,
mm-hmm,
hi. I'm like, no, no, no. So back to what I was going to. Oh, not that you were looking for a simple or easy sauce, but Alfredo sauce like is a very like
mm-hmm,
simple, easy sauce and one that I have
very
not made
easy.
in quite a while, to be honest. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was one of my favorite sauces to make.
yeah, I do too. It is very simple and easy. The only thing is, I want to, try a all homemade or like majority homemade dish of some sort,
Mm-hmm,
just to
mm-hmm.
further challenge myself. We'll see. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen until, later in the year because crops got to grow and stuff. And also I need to
Oh,
become
right.
better at this, but, we'll see.
Well, because I forgot you said you wanted to like use your own tomatoes that have yet to
Yeah,
be.
homegrown.
Yeah. Right, right. I missed
Mm-hmm.
that part altogether. I probably just lumped it with homemade. So
Ah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of a big dream right now, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna work towards it.
Mm-hmm. As per usual, I just request that you do include pictorials and
Mm-hmm.
photography of all of what you make. So
Yep,
because
I gotcha.
I'm already, just butchering words. So that's what we'll do. On a similar note, I did experiment, and in fact, we were kind of doing it around the same time because we were texting like such things like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," and "This is what I'm doing." So I was making, and there's actually two terms, but dirty wings, and the other term, I guess, are trash or trashy wings. I think it's trash wings. And if you don't know what either of those are, first of all, I will say that this lovely place called J. Tim's, it's actually called J. Timothy's, but the cool people call it J. Tim's because we don't have time to say the whole name of the restaurant.
Right.
But yeah, they have a whole, what's the word? I want to say they cornered the market, at least in New England anyway, because I can't find any other place that uses this term. But what they do is they fry their chicken wings, then they sauce them, and they fry them again, and then sauce them again.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Amen.
So I decided, like, okay, this shouldn't be too difficult, but I'm going to put a little twist in mine, and I'm going to air fry it first. Then I'm going to sauce them, and then I'll actually deep fry them in regular, oil like you're supposed to do. Or I don't want to say you're supposed to do, but yeah. So I did that.
Way.
Traditional, yes, traditional way. So I did that. I also tried it, air frying, saucing, then back in the air fryer again, and then saucing again. And then occasionally I would try it without the second layer of sauce, just to see if I can, just to get a taste of the texture of it all. What I can tell you is the reason why J. Tim's does not do dirty style for any dry rubs is because all the dry rub would come off if you try to fry it again and make the oil that you're cooking with just terrible. So
that makes sense.
And learn that lesson.
Well, you live and you learn. You wouldn't have known otherwise.
Right. Just like you learned making pasta or how not to do like whatever it is you did. And then I also learned not to do this with the dry rubs. I'm like, okay, well, lesson learned.
Yep.
And I tried to get feedback from Ashley, if any of them tasted better than the other ones. And I'm like, they're all good, as she just kind of hands me back a bunch of just cleaned bones. So I'm like, okay.
What did you think when you ate it?
I mean, she actually was right. There really was very difficult to taste any nuances between which ones were fried, like in actual traditionally, or completely air fried. So I too actually had a hard time kind of distinguishing like which one was which. So I even tried like my last batch to actually cook them longer just to see if because I like my wings to have like a bit of a crisp to them. So because I don't like them just too soft. I definitely don't like them if they have breading. And that's why normally when we get wings, we usually get dry rubs because they're usually a little bit crispy to them. So, that's what I was trying to achieve.
Sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Ken, he was a little picky. He felt they were too, not slimy, but because they had sauce on them, it was sometimes hard for him to hold. So he just took one bite and like, I don't want any more. So I'm like, why are you so weird? So
he is. That's
he likes chicken. He likes barbecue chicken, and that's really what I made. So I don't know. He's weird. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But hey, the chickens he didn't eat, I ate. So whatever. It's all good.
So the chickens got it.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said, so the chickens got it.
Yes. That's the important part. They were consumed. Tummies were happy, or at least me and Ashley's were. So yeah. And that's how that was written. As we just continue to blast away to another thing that I came across that I probably should have sent you the link for, so you can be in astonished amazement with me when I saw it. But lightsabers are real now. I don't know if you've heard. I may actually have to send you the text. It is a short bit of a video, so you can actually witness. The thing about it is, the way I set it up, I probably shouldn't even told you. I should have just sent it to you just so you can watch it happen. But no, I'm just trying to go back and find it. But I mean, this is an audio medium, so I literally have to tell you what it is before you see it. So yeah, so here we are. But so the lovely people at Disney have been working on this for I don't know how long now. At least I'm trying to think now. When did they acquire Star Wars? Like 15 years ago, 10 years ago? Doesn't matter.
Something like that.
They've figured out a way to make a lightsaber, not one that cuts people or hurts people, because I don't think anyone can be trusted with that.
Nope.
But no, not at all. So they made a working lightsaber where you can turn it on just like Luke does, and all of a sudden it just and makes the noises and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm happy.
I need to see this.
Yeah, I'm about to send it to you now, so you can kind of witness for yourself. Because I was like, should I send this ahead of time? And it was a last thought is basically what happened. So before we began,
it didn't happen. Thanks a lot.
But it made it in the notes. It was like the last thing. I'm like, oh yeah, the lightsaber. Because I showed it to Ashley, and she was like, I want one. I'm like, no, because it's probably stupid expensive. And even if it were possible to actually get a real one, I definitely would not want one in the house at all. Because Ashley will
liability.
Yeah, she admits that she'll be clumsy, not necessarily with it, but we also, there's a little child running around who will see it and want to play with it. And then I don't need any holes that I have to pay for in the walls. So they already told us not to put like nails or screws in the walls, and we've already done that. So yeah, I don't need a lightsaber hole.
Breaking rules.
And accidentally, attacking the neighbors or anyone walking down the hallways. So, but still, this is very cool. And I felt it needed to be shared because I'm like, yes, we are living in, I think, some of the best of times. Yes, it's dark and dreary outside, but look, we have a working lightsaber the way it does the way it looks in the movies. Yes.
Right. That's pretty cool.
So it did send, but so you'll be able to check that out. And last other thing that I mentioned, or not mentioned, I came upon is and I've been hanging out with one of my friends. We kind of meet up at Barnes and Noble, and he was taking a little while to get there, so I just decided I'm just going to wander around. But I'll wander around the gift area where there's a whole bunch of game boards and toys and just things that some of my or certain podcast hosts may one day get for a gift, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. But what I did come across is a Goofy Movie game.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
Grabbing it.
I did not give into the peer pressure. Shout out to Berto, because both of you are also like, do it. You won't buy it. You're chicken. You're lame. Get out of here.
So you are lame and you are a chicken, basically.
No, see what had happened is that my friend had called me. He's like, hey, I'm here. So I'm like, oh, great. So, we went, and then I told him of everything that was happening up to that point. He was like, yeah, you should go ahead and buy it. I'm like, dude, we're not here for that. So yeah, at least I know where it is. So I can always go back and buy it at a later date.
Sure.
I mean, they had a plethora of other things. So shout out to Barnes & Noble for not just being about books, but they have like built-in Starbucks, which I don't know if you can use the secret menu, which I was going to talk about. And now here I am talking about it. I'm afraid to try ordering things from the secret menu because I don't know if they have all these secret menu items or ingredients. So now, do you go to Starbucks at all?
I do. But it's very sporadically. I'm not like a every time I see it, I have to stop there, or every morning type of customer. It's when the urge hits me and I happen to be in a Target that also has a Starbucks, Pretty sporadic.
Yes. I'm kind of the same way, even though there's a Starbucks in my job. But again, I don't know if it's like a full Starbucks where it has everything.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think I'll just go up to them and ask them, like, hey, do you have like these ingredients? Okay, then I can be like, okay, great. I want this. And then I'll explain it to them, and hopefully I can get it. So the secret menu that I'm mentioning, by the way, I don't know how I came across it, but there are 55 different drinks you can order, and they explain to you how to order them so you can get what you want. Like the most recent one I got was a cinnamon toast crunch latte. Now, It did have a very strong cinnamony, toasty, crunchy flavor. Well, except the crunch. That's one thing they probably missed there. Like, add some granolas or some crunchy things. Give me the crunch. But what I forgot to do was order it without actual milk because milk hates me now in my older age.
Oh no.
So yeah, I drank about half of it and then I felt miserable for the rest of the day because my stomach was like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." So that was my stomach punching me in the stomach. So it was not pleasant, but it was tasty. I just was just full of regret. Yeah.
So it was perfect in the moment. Then afterwards, you're just like, what did I do to myself?
Yes. And my wallet hurt too because I paid $10 for that drink. I'm sad.
I'm so sorry.
But lesson learned. And yeah, I did not mean to go through any of that at all, but that was my Barnes and Noble. That's what we were talking about. But I don't know. I guess we're going to get into recommendations because it's about time to wrap it up. So I'm going to throw it to you. Do you have anything you want to recommend today?
Sure. So I have recently binged the show. It's a reality show. It's called Welcome to Plathville. It's on the Discovery Plus app, and I love the show. Now, again, it is reality TV, so, take that with a grain of salt if you choose to indulge with me. But
I
it's very
absolutely
interesting.
taking several grains of salt, actually. Yes.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it is good TV, I think. It's I don't watch like all reality TV because it's just little, but I really enjoy this show because it's very similar to the Duggar family. They're different in that they're not as they're just a different version, but they're basically, I would say, a different side of the same coin in their belief systems and stuff. And so it kind of follows the older kids who've moved out of the house, and how they are embracing the new world around them, or if they're gonna. It's I'd say it's a mix of the Duggar shows, and that there's another show called Breaking Amish or something like that, where it follows Amish teenagers who go out on their own and experience the modern world for the first time. So
Rumspringa or something, I think it's called.
I think it's that or something very similar where there's time in their life where they have the opportunity to go out in the modern world, and they can either choose to stay there and like live their lives there, or they can go back to their Amish communities. And I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, the whatever you said. So
Rumspringa, yeah, it is. Yes,
I think yes. So it's similar. It's kind of in that same vein, I guess, but we're talking about Southern Americans, Southern Christians. It's just a very interesting show. So I recommend
What's it called again?
Go for it. Welcome to Plathville.
Okay.
Plath
Since I've got my Googles.
Yeah, Plath is the family's last name. It's P as in Paul, L-A-T as in Thomas, H, and then they made Plathville for the show title.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I don't think I have that streaming service, but with all of this going on with HBO Max and Discovery Plus combining or merging or whatever happened, I really don't know what's happening. That is something that if you were to ask me about, I would be like, you know what, I'm not sure, because the news keeps changing like every day. So
oh Lord,
yeah,
I don't know what to say to that.
Right, it's really kind of confusing, and it's a little saddening because I'm like, okay, you came to do this whole, like, you had at least maybe a year to have all this figured out, all the logistics. You canceled like so many great shows because of this. Yeah, it's upsetting. And what I will say though is what I'm waiting for and hoping is that a bunch of these canceled shows from HBO Max, or even just the ones that they canceled altogether, they might be going to Fast TV. And I've recently learned Fast TV is, what does it stand for again? Free ad-supported streaming TV, basically. So it's an acronym.
Okay. Interesting.
You have used Fast TV before, because that's what Tubi is, that is what Roku TV is, that is what Pluto TV is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
all of these are examples of that. Apparently Peacock is fast as well. So
Really? Okay.
yeah. So if you're seeing ads during your streaming services or your streaming whatever, then you're using a fast service. So yeah.
Okay.
All that being said, it's possible that a handful of the things canceled by HBO because of their whole budgetary reasons, blah, 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 whatever. It could show up on one of these networks on their own channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping a close eye for that, because there's some things I miss and I really want to watch again, like Close Enough or Infinity Train, some really amazing animation, as well as just programming that just got canceled for no reason. So
for no good reason.
Yeah. But yeah, all that came up because you said Discovery Plus. So I had just a little tiny little axe to grind there. So yeah, that's what that was.
This is a safe space to do just that. It's okay.
Right. You're right. That's right. Safe. But I will recommend, since we mentioned Peacock, the return of Grand Crew. Sorry. If you watch the show, you know why I'm doing that, because that's the theme song. And Ashley and I watch it, and then we just jam by the time the theme song is over, because that's how it ends. But it's great. Now, do you remember me telling you about it before? Because I can refresh you if you
I remember. Thank you.
Okay. But for anyone who hasn't, basically the way that I pitch it to other people is it's friends, but with Black people. And instead of hanging out at a coffee shop, they hang out at a wine bar. And it's just fun antics about friends and dating, and just it's a very like casual, low stress, funny show. And I'm here for it. I'm already wishing that I had a season 3 and a season 4, so it can be my background show. Just like how you would watch The Office in the background, I would watch the show in the background. But they only have one season and like a few new episodes of season 2, so I can't go back and rewatch everything again yet. It's still too fresh. So
does it air weekly?
Yes,
or
it
release
does.
Weekly? Okay.
Yeah. So it's a great show. I highly recommend it because of the laughs, the characters, and even though I'm mentioning like it's Black people, it's not like it doesn't like berate white people or anything or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not like anything like that. It's just something that came to mind. I just want to make that clarification. But it's just a really good show. So
good. I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it truly, because I know you are a fellow wine appreciator. And
connoisseur is the proper term.
Oh, you've made it to connoisseur. I didn't know you made it to that level now.
Yeah.
Well. See, and we just talked about you mastering things, and that is a mastery that I was unaware of that you now have under your belt or your hat. I don't know what attire you like to wear more often, but that's where you keep it. So well done. Now, next is our moment of gratitude. I feel like I want to. Nope. Okay, I'll do what I'm grateful for first, and then I'll follow it up with something that I am not grateful for, which is not something that we do on the show, but I just needed to get it out there because it's happening to me, and I need people to understand how I'm feeling. So, First of all, let me just say that I'm grateful for, this is a person, Pastor Carla Woods, who's a great friend of ours at our church. And she had recently, she's been dealing and battling cancer, but as of, I guess, last week, she is cancer free. So thank God for that.
That's so good.
Thank God for her, and just for her being able just to, if you were to meet this woman, she is just nothing but like sunshine and just joy, like it just expressions all of the time. And it's just a joy just to see her. Like, and then for a while, sometimes we weren't seeing her. I'm like, oh no, I hope she's okay. Or, there's times she was a little down, but for the most part, anytime you saw her, she had a smile on your face, and she would just give you a hug. And anytime during service, she would just be freely dancing all around. And it's like, just go ahead, just have a good old time. And, even when she was diagnosed with it, she still remained joyful, still remained like just devoted, and knew that God would take care of her. And sure enough, he did. And it was just really encouraging to me. It was like one of those things that didn't really hit me until like later on, like, wow, that just happened. So yeah, it was just really inspirational and inspiring. So there are times in church that we always talk about how sometimes there are things that happen to you, but it's not for you. So it's, for me, that just kind of felt like that's what was happening. So yeah. So that is what I'm grateful for today.
Awesome.
What I'm not grateful for are the headphones that I'm wearing right now. Because
you don't like them?
I don't know. I don't like them. They feel like they're too small. They're squishing my ears in a very painful way. I worked from home today, so I was using them then. And these are headphones that I found in an old bag that I had that I kind of keep at the church. And I was like, oh, I can use these at home and replace the old ones that are all falling. Well, not falling apart, but like that material that's over the cushions, that like leathery, pleathery thing. Yeah, that's all been coming off. And then after I take the headphones off, I have all these black things all over the side of my face that just don't wipe off easily. So I'm like, okay, these got to go. So I threw those away. Need new headphones. So I found these headphones. I'm like, hey, I'll use these. And now that I'm using them, I'm like, oh, these hurt my head. And normally I don't have any issues, but they're very uncomfortable. So
we can't have that.
Even though I'm saying I'm not grateful for them, I'm glad that I have them because at least I have something. But yeah, I'm back in the market unless I take the ones that I use at work that aren't working. Or not, no, let me take that back. Or rather, let me rephrase that. Let me use the headphones that I have at work that I'm not using, bring them home, use them here. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do.
Okay.
I was going to say,
I'm here for the experiment.
Yeah. I mean, what I wanted to do is get some new Bluetooth headphones because I used. Okay, this is now sounding more like third world problem or first world problems, which it definitely is. But hey, we're already on the road. I have currently at my desk at work 3 sets of headphones. 2 of them are Bluetooth enabled, and then I have the audacity to sometimes show up to work with Bluetooth headphones, like a headset or headpiece, whatever, around my neck. That, like, if you call me, that's what I'm talking to you through, because I'll use those and go to the gym with. So I'll have like 4 different headsets or headphones with me. So I guess I can take one of those at home, but I want another pair of headphones to have at home to use. So yes, that like made me sound like a terrible person.
No, not at all.
Anyway, what are you grateful for to get me out of this little guilt hole that I dug myself into?
No need for all of that. But I am grateful for my friends. I've just got some really good friends in my life, and I'm grateful for their friendship and their support and their love, and truly the ones that gives the saying, chosen family meaning. So you are one of those friends. So I am very much grateful for you. But it's just it's a group of us, and there's some friends that I don't talk to often. There's some that I've talked to daily or weekly, or sometimes even just every couple of months, but they're still kind of my ride or dies. And so I'm so grateful. I understand how rare that is, or rather that, not everyone gets that. So I am very grateful to have that type of friendship with those that I have it with. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Well, that's great. I'm going to steal that and use that for next episode. So yes.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it was great because I've, I do think about my friends too. And like, even the ones I've kind of strengthened relationships with, such as the one that I go meet with at Barnes and Noble, who's also a bad influence on me, telling me to buy things, and like, no, here for that. Although you did it too, and Berto by association. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm on a budget over here. I'm trying to, feed families and get cars back on the roads and such. And
yeah,
it's not in the budget to be buying board games.
you should
Anyway,
do it though.
I mean, it's on the list. So you know what? I'll get it if you come visit Connecticut. See, and then we can
I'll come
all play
visit.
together.
Tell your little snow friends, meaning your friends made out of snow, to go ahead and melt and go far away, because not when it's snowing.
It's I mean, I told you what happened. It was snowing, but it wasn't even like accumulating. It was just like we're falling, but nothing's really happening. Just, go on with your life.
Tell me that in the morning, see if it's melted or not.
I mean, yeah, because I'm so far away from a window right now, I can't even take a look to see what's happening. But
Right.
I'm pretty sure it hasn't accumulated since we started talking, because it started snowing at noon. We started recording at like 6. There was still no accumulation whatsoever.
Nothing. We'll
Nothing.
see about that tomorrow.
Plus, it was raining like all since last night, so it was like way too wet, and I think the ground is still too warm. So yeah. So I think it'd be good. So just your the soonest opportunity you have, and then get here, then I will go ahead and purchase the game. I will give in to the peer pressure, and we'll sit down and play a Goofy movie game.
Okay, I'll do it.
And then I guess you can also you can bring your KitchenAid too if you want, because I feel like you'll have the need or the wants, like, ooh, I'm getting the itch, I need to make some bread. So
always, I have that itch literally right now.
Not surprised.
It's pretty insane.
Although I will make a request if you can look into if there's any gluten-free options, if you come across any.
There are. Yeah.
Okay. Just throwing that out there. All right. Well, that just about does it. Are you still incognito and that's not the word. Hiatus is what you were using before.
Oh, hiatus. Yeah. Well, both. I'm incognito and on hiatus. So, and living my best life,
Good,
it's the best thing
as you
for
should.
me. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a whole lot less drama with a lot of these social medias, except for Black Twitter. BlackTwitterApp.com. Go check it out if you this is really this one this time is more geared toward the Black folk, because
sure.
I'm just saying, we don't want no trouble. That's what I'm saying.
No troubles over here.
But yeah, go check that. That's a safe place too. So I'm there. Other than that, yeah, just hanging out, doing my thing. You can find me at all things at indoob, including Twitter, even though I'm not really tweeting much. I might be making a comeback, maybe. Instagram, I'm still trying to work it out, trying to find things to take pictures of that's worth sharing with people. It's weird. Even like with the food that I make, like I could probably share this with people, but like, no, I'm just gonna eat it. So that's what happens. So yeah, find me at all things at indoob. Go to the store. Please support the Indoob podcast there at Patreon. Soon, I know I keep teasing it, but soon we will be recording material for like just extra stuff, extra content, even if it's just me, or maybe even Kortney might want to record something that I'm not involved with. And like, I just have to get this off my chest, and here you go. And then I will post it, and then it'll be there. But you'll have to, you have to pay for it, because that's what Patreon's for.
That's what Patreon's
for. I'm so off script that I don't even remember where I left off. But remember to wash your hands, your feet, the undersides of your dishes, your dogs, because I have to wash my dog.
Yeah.
He's got a blue spot like on his hip. I don't know, and I think he laid on a pen, and it's been there for like a couple weeks now, because I haven't given him a bath. I mean, he's a white dog, so he's like, cars that get all the salt and stuff and grime on them. They just show up. Like, you're supposed to be white and fluffy. You're not dingy and brown. Well, he's not dingy.
Right.
He's clean, except for that blue spot. I've been your benevolent host, Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off henceforth and forevermore. And the church said,
Amen.
Thank you so much for listening to the Indoob podcast. To get more Indoob in your life, check out indoob.com, patreon.com/indoob, and of course, merch over at TeePublic. Email us your Ask Indoob questions, comments, or just say hi at indoobpod@gmail.com. Linky dinks in the descripts. Please rate, comment, follow, subscribe, and hashtag tell your friends. Until next time.